All right.
We are.
Hey guys,
Who's
who's gonna do the intro? We're gonna make that as a nice little album. I was like, fuck up as we start for 25.
Yeah, let's not try and coordinate a joint intro. So I'll hand this one over to you.
No worries. All right, guys, welcome to the first episode of 2025 of Cosplay Talks and All Things Nerdy. So, in this episode, we haven't got any guests. It is just your host, iPhoto UK and Switch. We thought for this one we would do it a little bit differently. We thought, you know what, we had a really good, solid 2024 last year. So what we want to do is we want to talk about the back end of last year, or talk about 2024 from a podcast perspective, and us as individuals, as photographers, but not just from a photography point of view, but just our lives maybe as well a little bit, or what we're excited about. But then what we'll do is we'll also want to go into talking about this year, 2025. What sort of cool things have we got lined up for the podcast? See if there's anything we can divulge in some projects that we've potentially got coming up for the podcast. Maybe not. Who knows? Also talking again about ourselves and what we've got lined up for this year in bits and pieces. And we're just going to read just a general chat. And if you did leave a question, which I know only one person left a question on the form, which is the most randomest question, but at the end of this episode, I will ask that question and we'll give an answer. So yeah, I mean, let's start with 2024 for the podcast.
Well, what a year! I mean,
not even a year, really, was it? It's like what?
No, like just August. A few months, really. Yeah. It was, I think August. I think our first, our release date was for 0.5 intro was 19th of August. So, it's all gone very, very quickly. From both of us, I think, separately thinking about doing a podcast for quite some time, to then just going, right, let's join up, let's do this.
See where it goes type thing.
Yeah. And it certainly surprised me with sort of where we've got to in this short space of time. We've had some fantastic episodes with some great topics. We've had some amazing guests. The likes of Gareth, Bigfoot Photos, Rob BHC, Declan Scammell, Troy, Captain Tempest.
Got Chloe Hill.
Tess,
Ready Player One.
Ready
Cosplayer One, yeah.
Ready Cosplayer One, yeah. I always get those two.
Every time I say it, it's always Ready Player One. I'm like, oh no.
I'm such a fan of that movie. So
love that film.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been a really good year. We've done interviews at events, which seemed to go really, really well. I certainly enjoyed doing them. The guests certainly enjoyed, from what I gather, coming on from the feedback we've had. It's been great. We've covered topics from cosplay, photography gear and chat, general tips, understanding a bit about UK cons and UK cosplay scene, through to European and international cons. We've done con safety and etiquette, which I think was a big one for us. It was our Achilles heel episode. We had quite a few.
I think it was a 2024 Achilles heel, a pain in the backside, that episode. Not episode to record from a point of view of discussion and talking and topic point.
Getting it together, yeah.
To get it on the air, get the people listening.
Technical issues and
issues, and I was so happy for that episode to be out. But by the time I finished with that, that killed me, that one.
Yeah, but it was good. So yeah, we had some interviews, which I think I'm quite proud of. We did a great interview with Sneak Energy at MCM London. That was really, really cool. Just generally, everyone was great, whether it was at MCM London in October or MCM Birmingham. in December. Did a little bit from Liverpool when I went with Nat to meet Ray Fiennes.
Yeah.
I think you're doing, although that's into this year, you're doing MegaCon this weekend.
Yeah, so anyone listening to this podcast, this will be released after the London MegaCon. So there will hopefully we'll be doing some interviews. Unfortunately, it will just be myself there representing the podcast, as Stan can't make it. So I'll be there. I'm going to be shooting a little bit and as well doing some podcast stuff. But if you listen to this, you would have already known that because you would have already seen me, and I've just jabbered on. So yeah.
Seen you and probably run off in the opposite direction.
Yeah, that as well.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately I won't be there this weekend. A mix of things really from my perspective. So some people who know me well will know. Some people maybe not so much. I've had a bit of an ongoing health issue for the last couple of years with my back, with various pain and sciatica and things like that. Unfortunately, the last 12 months, it's got significantly worse, where I've had a lot more visits to the doctor, a lot more issues, to the point where I was told by the doctor, yeah, we need to do an MRI scan. You need to take it very, very easy. Otherwise, you could end up potentially paralyzed if it's what we think it is. I had to drop out of MegaCon Dublin last weekend, which was unfortunate, but my back flared up the week before. So I decided to listen to the doctor for a change. I listened to my body more than anything. So I dropped out, rested up, and I was not originally intending on going to MegaCon London anyway. But then I decided, well, maybe I'll pop down for a day. But again, I decided to not do that. I've got a big shoot with Force Productions next weekend. Big Hannibal shoot over in Wales. There's about sort of 20 of us. Huge shoot, great fun. Fortunately, I'll have plenty of time to rest. Won't be carrying, although I'll be taking a lot of gear with me. I won't have to carry it around because we're staying at the base where we're shooting. But yeah, I decided to just drop out. Got my MRI results earlier this week, and unfortunately, I have a bulge in one disc in my lower lumbar, and then quite a severe slip disc in the lumbar below that, which is both are pressing on two different nerves, one more than the other. So I've now been referred to a specialist over in Derby, where they'll decide whether they want to do steroid injections or potentially operate to fix it. So if that happens, that may put me out of action for a little while. Fingers crossed they just go with injections, but generally I think I'm going to have to rein it in a little bit this year until we're all sorted. So yeah, I had planned to do less events as a whole this year anyway, and maybe scale that back a little bit. And this is kind of now forcing me to do that. So I will still be looking to do out-of-con shoots, although when I do that, I'll probably take an assistant with me to help ease things, or ask the cosplayer to bring someone along that can assist. So yeah, just as a little bit of an update for everyone, and also just to say, if I say no to a shoot, or if I say I'm not going to attend an event, that's likely the reason why. I'm okay. I'm on pain meds. So when I'm on pain meds, I'm quite happy.
Yeah, but you can't use that because you'll do yourself extra damage. You need to look after yourself. You can't overdo it. So
no. I can take a lot more pain meds per day than I'm currently taking. Fortunately, I'm managing to. I've got a high pain threshold anyway, and I'd rather not dose myself up to the level where, if my body's telling me to do something, I don't recognise it. I would rather still feel some pain and know if I'm overdoing it, so I can back off and rest, than just keep dosing myself up to the eyeballs. You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's enough about me whinging on with my health. 2024 for you, Tom, as a photographer.
Oh, yeah.
How was it for you?
I look back at it and it feels a little bit odd, bizarre, because I feel like I hit a level at the start of the year that I thought, yeah, I'm doing really well, doing good. And I knew it was going to be a busy year with cons and events and bits and pieces. And I was just pushing it massively last year. And also a lot of people that know me will also know that I've been very vocal about my mental health last year. So the start of last year, from basically January right up to about probably April, I was on medical sick leave due to my mental health from work, bits and pieces like that. And it gave me some time to reflect and whatnot on what I wanted to do with myself and whatnot. And it gave me that little bit of time to work on myself, but also my photography and what I was hoping to do for it. And bits and pieces like that. So I think it was a massive, I know from a quality point of view, last year, editing wise and shooting and concepts and understanding of different techniques and stuff like that got better. I could see the process because I was looking back through MegaCon last year, which was a bit of a turning point, but then each con was always something new, learn something new, always bringing the game up a little bit more, and I really pushed myself. So that was probably the advantage of going to so many events last year, was the fact that I was constantly shooting, constantly doing something. Met some incredible people. I think that's been the best part of 24 for me. Was it's not necessarily from a photography point of view, but I met some really solid people from this community and outside this community, and made me just love it even more, to be honest. And that, to me, what makes it even better. I think that also helps me step up my game as a photographer as well, is to allow that sort of level to be brought in, because obviously you build that connection and bond with people, especially at events, and you can kind of play, the more you know someone, and I'm not saying it's like, even if I don't know you, that I'm not going to play that, get that familiarity and that connection with shooting, but obviously there is a little bit with banter, and as soon as you start knowing people a bit more, that you loosen up a little bit more, and you flow with the ideas a little bit in there in that sense. But yeah, crazy year. I think I look back and I think I did about 9 or 10 cons last year.
Yeah. That's a lot.
I know Steph, my other half, she did 10 or 11 cons last year. She went to a few that I couldn't go to.
Just gonna look how many I did actually. I mean, I did. Strangely for me, I did very, very few out of con shoots. Normally I do loads, but didn't do a huge amount of out of con shoots last year. It was nearly all sort of events, and the out of con shoots I did do were all like group shoots.
Yeah, I did a lot more out of con shoots last year as well than I did previously. I know I'll get into this in 2025, but I know I'm planning on doing a lot more outside of that as well. But I think, 24 was a good year for conventions. It was a good year for meeting people. It was a good year from a development point of view.
Yeah.
Good year because we started talking more, and we put this podcast together and bits and pieces. And I'm like, I don't want to put that out there, but there's a few more podcasts within the community that have popped up. I'm not going to say it's our fault, but I might just say that was us. We'll take the credit for a few more. And I know if they listen, they'll laugh at that. But I wish them all the best as well going forward, and I'll definitely be supporting them as well. But 24. It was a good year, and I'm hoping this year succeeds and goes better. What about yourself?
I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I did 11 cons last year.
Oh, wow.
And sorry, I'm just interrupted. Yes. I did 11, so I just take some painkillers because I'm overdue. I did 11 cons. I did 19 shoots altogether. So 11 cons I did, and then I did things like the photography show, an extra shoot an extra shoot before the day before Kiel at the Caves. I did a couple of sort of individual shoots. So I did one over at Antwerp Mansion. I did a big shoot with some of the sports team, the first Hannibal shoot in March last year, which is what sparked off this one for next weekend. Then I did a Nika group shoot that I was invited to in September. It was great. A couple of promo shots. The Arcane event, and then I did a big shoot at Leak Street afterwards with a few friends. So, yeah, you know, all the events I went to were great. I tended to scale back a lot of what I shot at the events. I think I've kind of come to terms now that a lot of the mainstream events, for me anyway, aren't where it's at for loads of shooting. I only really want to shoot creatively now, because the time that I have with my day job and Secret Con and other things that I'm working on, which I'll mention in a little while, I don't have the time for the editing unless it's something that I really want to get stuck into or really want to edit. So last year was probably my busiest year to date. A total of, I think, 20 shoots or 21 shoots with all the events, extra bits and pieces. Only a couple of those were small shoots. The rest were either big events or big group shoots. You know, and the majority of it was all sort of really creative stuff, which is kind of where I'm at. So, you know, Volta was a massive highlight for me. I know anyone that knows me, it's a standing joke, keep going on about it. Oh, you went to Volta? Yeah.
Especially on this podcast.
That was a bit of a turning point for me last year. You know, I applied the year before, didn't think that I would get in. You know, you have to be selected, you have to get in. They only have so many spaces. And I didn't think I'd get in, and I did. And I was shocked, amazed, surprised, excited, nervous as hell. I went, met some absolutely amazing people, cosplayers, photographers, event organizers, and had probably the best time I've had from a shoot or an event or anything within my photography career. And it completely changed my outlook on events and photography and where I kind of want to go in general. So yeah, that kind of from May onwards, I really reevaluated how I approach events in the UK, and really stripped back the amount of people I shoot with and the kind of things I shoot. And I think probably I certainly feel creatively and content wise, I've had my best year. I think I've created some of my best or some of my favorite content to date. In 2024, you know, I've still got a ton of content now that I still haven't posted yet. I've still got a load of stuff I haven't finished editing yet, which is also a first for me. A lot of people know that I'm often quite quick off the mark with edits. And I still like to edit a few immediately after a shoot or after an event. Prior to last year, I would go into every event being clear on my backlog from previous events. Last year was the first year because there's now so many events in the calendar.
Spread out for the year as well.
Yeah, the event calendar used to be from like March, and then there used to be a few gaps, and then you'd have May, and then there'd be a few more gaps, and then you'd have sort of September, October, and November, and it'd finish in November, and it'd be done. Now it literally starts in January and finishes in December, and there's a con every month.
I just don't think it finishes, to be truthfully honest, because as soon as you finish in December, it's right. Yeah, back in. It's like literally MegaCon Dublin last week.
Absolutely.
It's MegaCon London this weekend. As we're filming this, that's tomorrow. I'm driving over to London tomorrow for it. And then February, I think there's probably something in February that I don't know about. I'm not going to anything in February.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Sorry, something. But again, it's like, I don't think the con season now is contained in like certain months now. It's literally like one a month or one every other month.
I think initially last year, I think like a lot of people, when it gets to that point, you start thinking, I've got to attend everyone. I've got to attend them all. And as the year went on, and particularly after Volta, I think I realised that I don't have to attend everyone. Certainly from a photographer perspective, I get enough content from the ones that I do attend. From the European cons, things like Secret Con, and places like MegaCon, who's another, they're a mainstream con, but they're really working hard to actively embrace the photography element. They're doing a lot to help make changes. I know they announced, the thing recently about being able to shoot around at XL for this coming weekend because of obviously the issues last year, and they've worked hard with
that was really
XL.
good. That was really good to see, and it detailed so much in it as well, and it really specified, like, look, here's the lines. This is what's acceptable. This is what's not acceptable. This is what we've managed to be able to do by discussing things with XL. You know what? Brilliant bit of information.
It took them a while to get there. I know some people were a little bit critical that they announced it late, but I think, from my opinion, if I'd have been attending, I would rather at least them do this and announce it than not do anything at all.
Exactly.
I'm not saying there won't be issues this weekend because it's XL.
It's a con. There's always something.
It's also a con, and XL has been anything reserve the right to change their mind, and they do. They have. I really hope everything goes well. The weather's not too great this weekend either, so I know a lot of people are having trouble sort of getting down to London this weekend.
Yeah, the wind and stuff like that, and trees.
Yeah. And, the weather's a nightmare, but I hope it goes really well this weekend. I would have liked to have gone, but I need to strip back this year a little bit, and I'm definitely just going to concentrate on leaning more heavily into my cinematic style. A lot of people often comment about my cinematic style and the way I light and compose shots. And that's something that I've been working on for a good few years now. And it's a style that I've been, leaning more and more heavily into, particularly as last year went on, to the point where I've kind of come to the realization now that that's me. That's my style. That's who I am, and that's who I want to be going forward. So I'm certainly going to be leaning a lot more heavily into that. Just this afternoon, I've spent, some time, I've been a photographer for 30 years, got a lot of experience in camera, a lot of experience in lighting, but even I spent probably 2-3 hours this afternoon, just watching videos, reading up on, some cinematic lighting styles to see if there's anything new that I can add to the way I light subjects. We never stop learning at the end of the day.
Really don't.
And as I put out on socials, there's a few new things I'm going to be trying this year. So stripping back some of the events, but also offering some new things like mentor and assisting, where people can book me to go and attend one of their shoots, and I'll sort of talk them through. I'll assist, I'll mentor, share some of my experiences, particularly in sort of lighting and cinematic style, composition, not necessarily so much the basics of camera settings, but more sort of, lighting and how to work with models and cosplayers and things like that. And, I've had a few bookings already, which is good. But I want to make sure that I am the best I can be. And if people are paying for that service, I need to make sure that I am at the top of my game to be able to provide the service that they're paying for. So, spent today swatting up. But yeah, I think last year was, health issues aside, and I had a bit of a rocky start to last year. Many people will know mental health wise, very similar to yourself. I had a really rough start. Very, very rough and very, very dark start to the year. recognized that around the sort of February, March time and realized that I really, really should get some help. And I did. And that really did turn my year around. Got some counseling, and a lot of that was based around the grief from losing both parents in the previous 2 years. It's not been easy, still not 100%. Probably, I don't know if I've ever been 100%, to be fair, who is. But yeah, doing that, I think probably helped me not only mentally, but it sort of helped free my brain, creativity. It sounds really strange to say that, but just being able to sort of lift that burden helped me to just be able to concentrate on being creative and being me.
I would 100% agree with that, with you there. It felt very much the same for me. I think what I'd say at this point is, like, if anyone is listening and they are struggling and they need that help or support, there are people out there who can help. I personally would recommend counseling. It did wonders for me. So
I mean, definitely.
If you're there and you are struggling, because people do struggle, and it's fine to admit that you're struggling. I will say that I still do to this day, but I have a greater understanding of my own issues. Same with Darren, he has his as well.
Yeah, I think that's the key. A saying I keep coming back to, and I see a lot posted on socials, is it's okay to not be okay. It's normal, perfectly normal. No one is perfectly okay 100% of the time. Whether you're not okay 99% of the time or 1% of the time, everyone is not okay at some point, and that's fine. Counseling doesn't work for everyone, and there's different types of counseling. I opted to go for a company that my employer actually referred me to, that they signed everyone up to at work, which I think was Health Assured or Health Assurance.
Health Assured or Health Shield.
Yeah, that's it.
The name occasionally.
A wisdom plan, and it was absolutely fantastic. So it's not based through the NHS, it's not based through your doctor, so they don't prescribe you meds or anything like that. And it's just purely, they assess you, you agree what you think you might need, you get some help, and it's as simple as that. And for me, it was the best thing I've ever done, was recognizing that I'm not okay. There is help out there. Let's try this. For me, it worked, and mainly for me, it was that what you just said. It's recognizing that when I'm not okay, that's fine, but also recognizing how to deal with that, and how to deal with those thoughts, how to deal with those feelings, and understand them a little bit more.
Definitely.
Without that counseling, I hadn't got a clue what was going on in my head. And I think for me, the pivotal moment was I was out shopping in the supermarket, and I just had panic attack, anxiety attack. I was just stood frozen at the checkout in the middle, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Seriously. And I realized then, it was like, yeah, I need to sort this out. This isn't me. It's kind of like I was looking at me from the outside and thinking that's not me, and I didn't like who I'd become. So yeah, that was what I did. And then that from March, April onwards, that really helped. And I think if I hadn't have got that help before Volta, I probably would have either dropped out, or I just wouldn't have been able to focus and enjoy it. I wouldn't have been able to, put the brain power into being creative and speaking with people and networking with people. I just wouldn't have been able to do it.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I'm the same. It's like, as I mentioned at the start of the podcast, I went through my severe issues at the start of the year as well. Mine were very different. Mine are very much stuff I've been fighting for probably 20, 25 years. I've been fighting with demons, and I've done counseling in the past, and I've done over the phone counseling, because I always felt I don't want to bother anyone's time, but they're there to help and listen and support. And obviously, the more you talk, it's not easy. Tell you what, it's one of the hardest things I think I've ever done, apart from the fact apart from turning around on myself and going, very similar to what you said, Dan, is like looking like I'm overlooking myself, going,
Yeah.
that's not me. Something's going on. I don't feel right. I don't feel good. I need to do that. And I could be the only one that could do that. So I opted to then do face-to-face counseling. And I tell you what, I hit that brick wall where I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need something. I went, Doc, do you know what? Lay it on me. Let's do this. Let's just see what can we do to make me feel better, because I'm sick of feeling sort of worthless and crappy and all this sort of stuff. I tell you what, the start of last year was really negative. And so whoever I shot with at Magna last year, I had a few people who shot with me quite a few times before, and they were like, Tommy, you're all right, because you're not like your usual self. And these are people that I've probably only met 2-3 times before at other cons and don't necessarily have regular conversations with, but they were around me and they were like, there's something not right. They couldn't go, I'm like, oh, no, I'm fine. I'm all good. And, you put that brave face on, no, everything's fine. It wasn't. And I knew at that time it wasn't, but I wasn't ready at a point to share. But then I started counseling and going through these processes and whatnot. And by the time I hit Secret Con Bunker, which was in the April, I started feeling better. I started feeling more myself, but I was going through weeks and weeks of counseling at this point, and I had the time off. My employees at the time were really good. They allowed me to, focus on myself, focus on what I needed to do to get better. Sadly to say, I don't work with them anymore. That's another story for another time.
Meh.
A bit more lightheartedness to it. Anyhow, but for me, I don't want to hear too much with Darren but it was very similar. I found that love again for what I was doing, the editing, the development. I was like, yeah, I really like this, but what happens if I try this? And I started to really start finding my flow and what I was really liking. And yeah, me and Darren are very similar in styles. He's a lot more cinematic than me, but that's because I don't know a lot about cinematic shooting yet.
You will do.
Hence the word yet. I've already pestered Darren on this. So, because I want to do more cinematic stuff. And I'm very dark anyway with I prefer dark stuff. I love working with light. Like Darren said, it's like, we're always learning. I had a bit of a knot, didn't I? Start of this year. I had some negative feedback on something. Let's put it this way. It hit me hard because it went back to my mental health, and it hit me to the point that I was like, right, I'm quitting. I'm giving up. And that's how hard. I had a chat with Darren about it, and I was like, do you know what? No, I'm not letting that defeat me. That was the old me. Let's move forward. Let's go ahead and let's just. Oh, do you know what? Fuck it. That was literally what I said. Like, fuck it. Let's just get. You know what? No, I'm going to do it. I'm going to push harder and push better. So there will be some more stuff coming, but like Darren said, for me, and I'll get into it when we start talking about 2025. But do you know what? If anyone is struggling, please, even if you want to just reach out to myself, or I'm guessing Darren will be more than happy as well to be, to talk to.
Absolutely.
Even if you just want that friendly support, we're not going to tell you what you need to do.
Or even if you want to just say, oh, what was the counselling that you used? And, can you tell me some details? Because, like I've got a few really, really close friends, and they always say the same, and they genuinely mean it. 100% believe that you can talk to me anytime. I'll be there for you. And I 100% believe that. But in my head, I don't want to bother someone that I'm really good friends with. Because quite often they're fighting their own demons. 2, I don't want to bother or disturb them or take them away from what they're doing. 3, I find it hard to open up to someone that I know really well, because I'm scared that I'll be judged on what I say. Whereas when I had counselling, I could have had the face-to-face. I opted with the one-to-one over video call, which I could then do from anywhere, mainly because I didn't know how I was going to take to it, and I knew if it got to the point, I could just click end call and walk away, end of. So I opted for that. But I found it, once I got talking, I found it much easier to open up to a total stranger.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, I don't know this person. This person doesn't know me. When I walk away from this first video call, I don't ever have to see them again if I don't want to. So that made it easier for me to open up and be honest. Whereas with someone that I'm close to or really good friends with, it's harder for me to open up and be 100% honest about how I'm feeling at the time. Some people are different, but that's just me. So yeah, just to reiterate what Tom said, never feel afraid to reach out to anyone out there right now that's struggling. Even if you don't know us, reach out to me, even if it's just to say, oh, what were the details of that company you used again? Happy to share. I'm happy to talk about it. Even if you don't want to go into details, or even if you do, even if you just want me to sit there and listen to you ramble on about how you feel, really not an issue. If it makes you feel better, and it makes me feel better, it's as simple as that.
Exactly. You don't want people to just struggle with it. Like I said, I'm always there. If you know me or you don't know me and you want to chat, I'm more than happy to listen. Even if you just want to talk shit about anything. Doesn't even need to be about your problems or whatever. If you just want to have someone to talk to.
If you want to chat about, nerdy shit and have a distraction, I'm down for that. You want to meet up for a coffee? If we're local or if we're in the area at the same time, let's meet up for a coffee. If we're not, you can have a video call or a phone call or just chat randomly on DMs. If you want to chat about random shit, nerdy shit, anything you want, just take your mind off stuff. My DMs are always open. My phone's always there. Absolutely no problem at all.
Definitely. But, with that said, I think we need to look towards the future.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good segue, actually. It's like looking towards the future. It could be a very positive
It is. Because, one of the topics we do want to talk about this year in one of our episodes is mental health in the cosplay community. So, we don't have a scheduled date yet. That is one of the topics we want to talk about.
It's important that we get that one right. And it's important that we have the right guests who have had, struggles from different environments, different avenues and, different bits and pieces and different perspectives.
It's safe to say that a lot of people in the cosplay community, I found, and this was one of the things that surprised me when I've been shooting cosplay since 2012, but I didn't really come into the cosplay community since about 2017, my first con. And the first thing that hit me was the amount of people who use the cosplay community, not use it, but are in the cosplay community for an escape, to help them give something else to focus on. And it first hit me when I'd spent the weekend at con, met loads of people, shot with loads of people, had a great time, been in the Fox, and everyone was like partying, going nuts, living the best life. And then back then I used to come home on the Sunday. So I would jump on the tube on the Sunday evening after con, and I would see all these people that I'd spent all weekend with, some of which I knew, some of which I didn't know. And, they'd been living the best life, really out there, larger than life characters. And they're all kind of then sat on the tube on the way back amongst strangers that aren't from the con scene, and they're all kind of like that, head down.
Go back into the shell.
Yeah, and it hit me there and then. My first con weekend, I was like, wow, shit. And back then, I would say that I considered my mental health always pretty good. Never really, at that time, felt like I never really suffered with mental health. So I'll be honest, I was kind of completely oblivious to that sort of stuff until that point. And then the more people I got to know, the more I started to learn about mental health, and the more people that I started to realize that suffered with it in the cosplay community, and initially I thought, what is it? Is it, why is that? And then I realized that it's because the cosplay scene gives people the chance to
feel normal or escape.
Someone else, get away from their problems for that day, that hour, that weekend, or whatever, and not live the life of someone else, but just
To be
forget
around
about their
like-minded
issue.
people in some ways as well, and it's
Exactly.
feeling accepted or feeling normal within a group of people.
Totally. Yeah, so that is an episode we want to do this year. It's definitely one that we're not going to rush. Like the con safety and etiquette, because it is so important. During that episode, we want to make sure that we're not going to start giving advice or anything like that, but we just want to we'll get a couple of guests on, talk about varying levels of mental health, things that we've dealt with, how we've dealt with them. We want to get it right. We want to get the tone right. We want to get the information right.
It is
so that's
something
one episode we're going to do.
Definitely something that is a passion for both of us to support and go ahead with. There's probably going to be other projects that we can get the ball rolling on them throughout the year as well.
I don't know, we can maybe even link it into the calendar we've talked about for next year.
So
this year.
So talking of this section, as Darren has dropped this, there has been a few times where we've, either myself or the podcast or Darren, we're kind of talking about doing a calendar, and essentially this calendar would be all proceeds would go to mental health charities. I think the concept with originally was going to be a full-on male calendar to do it, and then go men's mental health, male mental health, and then we don't want to discriminate because of mental health across everything, so it'd be like a very open one as well to do with females and mixes. And that
we'll do too. We'll either do a mixed calendar or we'll do two calendars, a male and female. We're thinking we may open it up generally to originally it was going to be all male cosplay photographers. And it was going to be a spicy calendar just for a bit of fun. Not
depending
quite
on the
sure
level that people were happy with.
Not quite sure who'd want to buy that, but hey, if it's for a good cause, I'm sure you'll dip your hand in your pocket. I'm not doing any of the winter months, by the way. Just definitely not.
I'll take the winter months.
But yeah, I think we're going to open up to the wider cosplay community and just have a bit of fun with it, but also do something for a good cause. So I think that'll be fun. So what other topics have we got? Oh wow, we've got quite a lot actually.
I know. So we read a lot of them.
Some more on the fun side, some more on the serious side,
some on the geekier side.
Yeah. So another one, just picking out another serious one. Accessibility and disability is one that we want to do an episode on. Many people know that I'm one of the organisers of Secret Con. It's something that at Secret Con we try and work towards more and more. It's something that, I'll be honest, we've got some criticism for it in the past, certainly in the early days, and we've tried to work with people. It's certainly something that I want to learn more about, and I certainly want to talk more about it. So that's an episode, but again, that's another one that we'll probably do later in the year because we want to do it right. We want to get the right
info.
The right info. We want to have the right people on as well. So, just putting this out there, if you are in the cosplay community, and you are, either experienced in accessibility or disability, or you do have yourself some accessibility and disability issues, whether they are visible disabilities or not, because we would like to have a bit of a range. Get in touch. We'd like to talk. Even if you're not comfortable with coming on the show, but you're happy to share information and experiences, we want it to be a bit of a mixed episode. So from a con perspective, how you get on at cons, how you manage, tips for other people, how they can manage, information and tips for how people without disability and accessibility issues can help you or can do better, things that events can do better. but also out of con shoot stuff as well. So that's one that we want to approach. Neither of us have any sort of major experience in that area, but we know it is something that is a very important topic, and we want to talk about it. We want to learn about it. More importantly, we want to help others talk about it and learn about it. So,
or have a better understanding that can help someone.
Absolutely. Again, some of the events out there are better than others. Again, I'm going to mention MegaCon because I've heard some really, really positive experiences on the disability and accessibility side with regards to MegaCon. It's another event that seems to really want to engage with the community. And I know obviously, MCM have made a lot of changes in recent years with regards to accessibility access and things like that. So yeah, let's get some people on and let's talk.
So that's some serious ones that we've definitely got planned for this year that we want to put the research in and really work around. Bit more on a funner side. Obviously, I've said this before in another podcast. We need to get the Secret Con team on. We need to have a conversation with them.
We will do that. We will do that
one.
For sure.
So that one, I'm trying to push for sooner because obviously we've got Magna coming up. But if it doesn't work out, then it will probably be a later one.
I'll have a chat with the team, see if we can either fit it in either just before or just after Magna.
It'd be good.
Maybe I think let me chat with the team, see if I can get us on before Magna.
It would be nice, but if not, then either after Magna and then or before Castle.
Even if we can't get us all on,
get majority of you.
If we can get 2 of us on, 3 of us on, then great.
I think it'd be a good one. Talking about a very fun event. Very different to obviously conventions because obviously it's a photo con. But let's get some hype out there for the Secret Con, and even it is growing every year. It's one of these things not to miss. So obviously, if you've been, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, why haven't you been? I'm sure applications are still open for some events.
We're running applications for Magna sort of right up to the week of the event. I think. Nice. Same with ticket sales. So we've got plenty of space at Magna. It's a huge event, huge venue. Any questions? You want to know more? Reach out to me or reach out to the team. But yeah, we'd love to have as many of you there as possible.
Also, to add to that as well is like if you've been on socials this week, you would have seen. I think yesterday talking about locations. If anyone has cool, fun ideas for locations, get in touch with the team.
Yeah, so one of the things one of the things we're doing that a lot of events don't, I know we're very different, but we want to give you guys what you want from an event. You're the guys that are attending. You're attending for yourselves. You're not attending for us. So if you have, we often hear people say, "Oh, why isn't there an event near me?" Well, if you have a venue or location that you think would be suitable for Secret Con,
definitely
head to our socials, click the link. There's a Google form on there. Fill it in. We'll look into all the venues that are suggested, and if we use that venue between now and 2027, we'll give you £250. Simple as that. No catch, no bullshit.
Worth it.
And for anybody that doesn't really know what we are, so as Tom said, we're a photo con. So we are purely focused on photography, video, and cosplay. That's it. We have no general public, no guests, no stalls, no creator passes. Everyone pays the same. Everyone's equal. Doesn't matter whether you've got 5 followers on Instagram or 500,000 followers on Instagram. Doesn't matter. The application is purely there so we can verify you are a cosplayer, videographer, or cosplayer, videographer, photographer, videographer. Get my words mixed up now. I can't speak. And yeah, also we've now opened up assistant tickets. So a lot of this, again, this is something I picked up in Italy and Volta. It's very encouraged over in the European cons to have assistants. They're very useful. I took an assistant with me. I mean, I've often worked with people at cons anyway. I often got someone with me, shooting with me, helping with me, collabing with me, and I find it extremely useful. So it wasn't quite so alien to me when I went to Volta. And then I think the rest of the year, practically every shoot I went to, I had an assistant. So we've opened up that option now for secret con events where space permits. Our 2 events we've got so far this year both do. So if you're a photographer, you want someone to come with you and assist. If you're a cosplayer and you want some help, just get them to register as an assistant, and buy an assistant ticket. It's as simple as that. Yeah, they're just really fun, really chill, really laid back events. Some are 1 day, some are 2 day. Both of our events so far this year are 2 day. Magna in Sheffield has an after party on the Saturday, which will be great fun. But yeah, come along, have some fun, get some content.
It's a great experience. You get to meet, if you're like Aaron's saying, if you're I'm talking from obviously I'm not part of Secret Con. Let's put that out there. I attend, I'm a fan, and I shoot. That's what I do at the event. But I tell you what, like Darren was saying, if you've got 5 followers to, I don't know, 500,000 followers, it's a great way, especially if doesn't matter, it's a great way to meet new people and to meet like-minded people and to work with new people, and bits and pieces like that. So if you are like nervous about going to a normal con, for example, because you go, I'm not going to know anyone, you know what? Secret Con's a really good place to do this sort of thing because it is like we're saying, it's a private event, no general public, all this, everyone is there, same reason, and you have such a good laugh.
It's great for networking as well. So if you don't know many people in the cosplay community, it's great for networking because a lot of the people that come to our events go to the mainstream cons. It's great for networking with photographers if you're a cosplayer and vice versa. It's great for learning how to arrange shoots. And it can be a great confidence booster. We've had people come to our events and say, you know, it's our first proper cosplay event. I was always nervous about going to the big cons. They've come to our event and then gone straight to MCM and absolutely loved it because they've gained that confidence. So yeah, anyway, enough of pimping out my own event.
Go.
We also want to talk about some nerdy stuff this year as well. So, you know, we are called Cosplay Talks and all things nerdy.
I think we have the nerdy side for 2024.
Yeah, we want to do some episodes, you know, a bit about pop culture and gaming and movies and just geeking out. So yeah, we've got some exciting things coming up throughout the year with that. What else? Yeah, just what it was based on. We've got an episode literally about working with assistants at events and out of con shoots and how to do it, how to go about it, the fors and against and etc. Cancel culture and entitled behaviour within the cosplay community. A little bit about that. Photographer inspiration and influences. Cosplay groups and group meets is another topic we want to talk about. One that's quite popular at the moment, but again has lots of pitfalls is talking about the whole sort of spicy, not safe for work, OnlyFans, adult side of the.
Yes, I think on that one we've got a bit of a mixture. We've got quite a few different. I think that might become like a little mini series of episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
Because some of you might know I'm doing an event next weekend, which is. Am I still here? I think so. Or have I frozen?
You've frozen.
Oh. I can
still hear you, but your
you can hear me
frozen.
anyway, so it doesn't matter about visually seeing me, but hey. Some of you might be aware I'm taking part in... Oh, I'm back.
Yeah.
Back. All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me rephrase that and restart that again without having an issue with... Anyhow, perfect time. I talk and it just goes wrong. Oh, well. If you can hear me, that's fine. So I'm taking part in an event first weekend of February, which is all around spicy industry a bit more. So OnlyFans, so a mixture between OnlyFans, lingerie models, and some other bits and pieces. So I've been invited to that event. I'm very honoured that they invited me to take part. It's best way of explaining it. It's a bit like a secret con without the cosplay. Well, the way it's going, there could be some cosplay, but in a more spicier feel.
Yeah.
So essentially, we want to have a few episodes talking about that sort of side of things. More of an information bits and pieces, so people understand the differences between sort of like boudoir, spice, OnlyFans, and we'll even say porn stars as well, because there is someone I've been in conversation with who does a bit of everything, and she's offered herself to come on and have conversation with us in regards to that. So this year there will be a little bit of a series, I think, with a theme, and obviously,
I think so. I mean, similarly, I'm co-running actually some events this year with Declan Scammell.
For that as well.
We are setting up and running our own. I kind of hate the term spicy, but I will use it because it's known and popular within the cosplay community. So we are setting up our own sort of spicy, not safe for work adult content creator days. And these have been mainly aimed at people who do OnlyFans, various other things within the adult community. Again, these will be like a secret con, but I won't say without the cosplay, because there probably will be some cosplay, but for the adult industry. So you'll be able to come along as a photographer, videographer, or a content creator, and you'll be able to book a slot at some really cool venues. We're running one venue probably 3 or 4 times this year, which if you're in the cosplay community, will be very, very well known to you. More details will be available soon. But our first one's going to be the end of March, Saturday the 29th, I think.
I think it is, because Dex got me involved as well.
MegaCon Birmingham. It is a Saturday at MegaCon Birmingham, but it was the available date at the venue. Well, I'll still be at MegaCon on the Sunday, but so we're running our first one. We're also going to be doing an after party as well, which will be lesser content creator, more of a sort of adult party, shall we say?
Loosely say that, yeah.
More on the creator day. So again, you depend on any level of the adult creator industry. You'll be welcome to buy a ticket. You'll be able to buy a ticket as an individual, or you'll be able to buy a ticket as a team, where you can come along as a team of 3 or whatever you need. Create the content that you need in a really cool but really safe environment that is controlled, that is managed, and that is secure.
Fully
consented. Get the content that you need. There'll be people on hand to help and assist if you need any help and assistance with lighting or making sure that that area is clear for your particular shoot. So it's going to be they're going to be really cool events. Some people know, some people don't. I used to sort of do a lot of photography in the adult industry myself, up until probably around 2018, 2019. Not had a chance to do any since, but it's an area that I want to move back into because I like creating work in that industry, but with my own artistic twist. And this year I want to I've got some plans to create some sort of not safe for work content with a real sort of cinematic look and feel about it. So yeah,
After Dark.
Yeah, that's
I'll
that.
plug
Exactly.
it. I'll plug your stuff for you.
So yeah, my iPhoto UK After Dark. Which I don't think it's got much on the Instagram at the moment, but I don't really want to go back and share a load of old content that's already maybe been shared elsewhere. I mean, not that you can really share much like that on Instagram anyway, but yeah, again, some stuff will be full on not safe for work, but some stuff will be just a little bit saucy, but really cinematic. I want to lean quite hard into that, to sort of the non-cosplay aspect this year. So yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of as Switch says, a little bit of mini series really. Got a couple of guests that are interested in coming on, talk about their experiences, how they manage things, the way they do things, some tips, hints, how they deal with the negative aspects, because there is, a lot of negatives that go along with that, more so the way that some people see that side of the industry. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good series of episodes. Well, for that, I'm sure you'll see Deck around a few times in episodes throughout this year. Mixture between.
I think he's probably going to be our resident guest. I mean, it probably almost needs to be cosplay, togs, and all things nerdy, and Deck. To be fair,
yeah, we just need to find someone called Ant now, and then we'll have the right mix. But no, so Deck will probably be appearing this year. I don't think we've actually asked him on anything recently, but I'm pretty sure if we go, "Hey, Deck, are you free? Come on," and he'd be like, "Yeah, sure, no worries."
I mean, I know I spoke to him. I have spoke to him about some of the sort of spicy content to come on from a photographer aspect. And then we got, we sort of cover all bases there. We got sort of models, content creators, photographers. So yeah, I think we got all bases covered there.
So that'll be a fun one.
It will.
I want to add on that one though quickly. So I want to do say though, on that sort of content, even on the podcast, it will be rated for over 18s.
Absolutely,
because there will be conversations and discussions of adult nature and whatnot. So them ones will be pre-recorded sessions, and they will be put on like the likes of YouTube and Spotify, and it will be marked as contains explicit conversations.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what I don't want is, what we don't want, I don't want to say we don't want is if anyone does struggle with them sort of conversations to come on and listen to that episode and be triggered by it. So there will be warnings and stuff like that going throughout whenever we do anything like that, so that it's a warning. Obviously, we love everybody to listen and comment and everything like this, but obviously we also don't want to trigger anyone.
Absolutely. Moving on, another one that I'm looking forward to that I think is going to be a little bit mini series. We mentioned before is the Share a Shoot. Something we're looking forward to doing this year, which will be largely done at events where we'll get multiple photographers involved to shoot with a set cosplayer. And we'll sort of record each shoot and session, how they shoot, how they go about it, how they light it, their setups. And then a little bit, we'll get them to record a little bit of a speed edit, how they edit their shot. And then we'll record an episode where we get everyone on, including the cosplayer, and we talk about the shoots, talk about how each person does it differently. And I think that'll be a really cool one to see how every photographer has their own style. And even though they might be shooting at the same event with the same cosplayer, there can be sort of vastly differing end results. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and what's something I was going to bring up as well, because I know that yourself is going to be busy at SecretCon, but I was going to try and see if we can push for a Magna one. And it'll be something that I might run, and I might be the assistant on this one, going around with the cosplayer. So if it is something you're interested, we will be putting that. I think as long as Darren is okay with this one happening at Magna, so we might try it out at Magna for the first one.
Yeah, so I think we're looking to run a total of 3 photographers at each one, aren't they? So if we're going to do Magna, it'll be me plus 2 other photographers. So if you're interested in being a photographer, and if you're interested in being the cosplayer, it would probably need to be someone that is going to be in the same cosplay for at least half of the day, because of the time it takes to do each shoot. So if you're planning on doing 50 million cosplays on the first day of Magna, probably won't be suitable. I cosplayed once and I did one cosplay the whole day. Honestly, I don't know how people can manage to do like 4 or 5 cosplays in a day. It would kill me. So respect if you do that. So yeah, if you're interested in that, just give us a shout. That'll be a really interesting one. We also want to do an episode that's sort of really heavily cosplay based, so around cosplay crafting, 3D printing, leatherwork, foam, etc., etc. I want to do an episode around that this year.
So creating cosplay.
Yeah,
in all areas.
Yeah, so that'll be a really, really cool one. We want to do one around sort of new aspiring cosplayers and photographers. So, we want to get some new people on, people that are new to the community, or relatively new in the last, say, 12, 18 months. That'll be a good one. We're going to do one, actually. This will be a fun live one that we're planning at some point. The other halves take over. So
yeah,
minus the other halves, we're going to do one where they're hosting and we're just like sat there as little hang-ons, really.
We're going to be hang-ons and be going, we've created something, and they're going to, how quickly can they destroy it? If anything, they'll probably make it better, but who knows?
It'll be a fun episode. There'll probably be drink involved. Don't see how we can not.
It'd be it'd be a light-hearted, fun, be a live stream. So obviously we'd want as many of you in the live stream as possible to make that experience even funner. That's bad English, but hey.
We want to do one about the sort of general world of social media, convention scene versus social media as a content creator. That'd be another good one. We want to do some where we explain the differences between an influencer and a cosplayer. Because again, there are some people in the community that are more on the influence side, some people that are outright cosplayers. So again, and that's not about throwing shade. That is just about explaining the differences.
Probably also adding content creator in that as well.
Yeah, that'll be more sort of information of how to spot each, the different types, and if you're looking to move more in one direction, how you might do that. Tips and hints and
a bit of advice and stories and pros, the cons, and stuff like that, or within the different areas or something like that. There's different levels in all three: cosplay,
Absolutely.
influencer, and content creator.
So we got another one. We're going to do an episode about smoke grenades. That's one that I'm really looking forward to this year. So
that one
more
is
and more people.
That's going to be a special one as well, because that's going to be a location. That's going to be a location shoot or a location episode, should we say?
It is. So we're going to be working on a lot more and more people are working with smoke grenades. And there's fors and against. There's a lot of safety aspects to consider, and it can be really fun and really creative. So we want to do an episode where we do a shoot, and we've got a very, very talented photographer who's very experienced with all things smoke. That's Cosplay by Pedro.
Using and shooting with.
Yeah, so he's sort of sponsored, I think, or certainly an affiliate with Enola Gay. So we will be doing a whole episode there where Pete will help and guide and talk somebody through how to use them safely, both from the handling perspective through to the photographer perspective, how to get the best out of it, how to be creative, the do's and don'ts. and then we'll show some of the results that you can get from shooting with smoke. So that's one that we're gonna have to wait for the slightly warmer weather, and quite
Probably
not so wet and windy, but
and probably on that one, we'll probably end up doing that as a little mini thing as well, maybe a couple of episodes, because we'll probably then adapt over to machine and handheld smoke as well.
And I'd also like to move into other things. So just any sort of little niches, creative elements, little how-tos, how to do this safely, throughout the year, maybe even a lighting one. So might just make that a little bit of a creative mini throughout the year. If we can do sort of 3 or 4 of those, that'd be fantastic.
I know from our conversation, we want to do a bit more meeting up in person and doing some stuff at locations and stuff like that. Obviously, we don't live close locally to each other, but we're not exactly far. So we are looking at doing a lot more this year in regards to away from cons, but looking at doing more location-based episodes and shoots and other bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Does that kind of tie into something? Are we in a position to talk about a certain thing that we've been working on, or do we need to hold off?
We are. So a lot of you will have seen last year, I was posting, the Switch was posting about an Arcane-based event.
League of Legends / Arcane, because it's that world.
Not just pigeonholed to Arcane, the whole League of Legends arcade genre, I'll call it. So it's got a little bit quiet on the post front, but we have been working away in the background. The general consensus was a date for sometime in June. So June is quite a busy month for me. So I've got Secret Con, third weekend of June. I'm away in Switzerland now in it's a Picmatia, I think it's called.
Not sure how to pronounce it. Replacement.
Can't do Volta. I'm in Norway. So yeah, again, this is another European con that I applied for, and there was only like 61 places for photographers, and I was convinced that I wasn't going to get in. And then I got
300 applicants or something like that for photographers.
I think they said, applicants in total, but they'd only got space for 61 cosplayers and 61 togs. And I got an email, I think last weekend or whatever, to say that I'd been accepted. And I woke up and I was like, say what?
It was a double take, wasn't it?
I was a bit surprised, to say the least. So I'm very excited. I'll be over there for 2 days, 14th and 15th of June.
Beautiful country as well.
Beautiful, yeah. So I'll fly into Geneva, and then we're probably like 45 minutes from there at the base of sort of one of the lakes. I'm not even going to begin to try and murder the pronunciation of the name, but we'll probably put it up on the screen to help me out and save my embarrassment.
I'll try and remember and edit in.
So yeah, we've got either the 7th of June or I think the 28th of June that we can do the Arcane event.
I think we're looking around the 28th. I think
we're looking at the 28th at the moment. I just need to confirm with the venue, which I think we can announce now is Gloucester Prison. So anyone that's been to Secret Con will know that venue. So Secret Con last year, we said that was the last Secret Con there because we were losing the venue. Fortunately, the venue is still there and available. So we're doing our Arcane event there in June. Arcane League of Legends. Sorry. So yeah, I'll be confirming that in the next couple of weeks and putting some info live. And then as soon as we've confirmed the date with the venue, we will launch ticket sales. Not sure on the price yet. Probably going to be quite similar to a sort of Secret Con price, because venues aren't cheap. There isn't going to be a limit on capacity because it's quite a large venue. So, yeah, if you're a photographer, videographer, cosplayer that is into Arcane League of Legends. We are going to limit it to that only. So I'm not sure I'm going to do it. We may do an application similar to Secret
I
Con.
think it's worth doing an application, but we will almost like to get you to submit a idea of the cosplay. And it's not
a judge,
not a judge at all. It's just because it is going to be a themed event, League of Legends Arcane. But I know from my point of view, if I'm reviewing it, I know that if it's like a cross sort of OG, but based on a League of Legends, then it borderline might come in. But it's it's very.
What I think we're trying to avoid is we don't want to say we're running this Arcane event and then we get a Spider-Man turn up,
or a Wolverine,
or a Batman, or a Wolverine, or a Deadpool. Although arguably if it's a Marvel, it could maybe say they've come through from the multiverse, but I'm not even going to go there.
That's a whole different kettle of fish. Let's not go down that. I mean, we're going down a bit. But so if it's an original League of Legends based character, then
if you want to do a mashup between two different League of Legends characters, fine. You want to do a casual League of Legends or Arcane, fine. But it is going to be strictly Arcane League of Legends. It's a great venue for anyone that's been there. Got lots of variation. There's a lot within the venue that suits the Arcane show, and a lot of areas that can be suitable for general sort of League of Legends, sort of gritty, dystopian, prison, outdoor. Yeah, there's just tons there. It'd be something very, very different for a lot of people to get involved in.
Also want to reiterate, this isn't we've said Secret Con a few times here and even in this discussion, this isn't an event ran by Secret Con.
No,
this is completely separate.
This is purely us. So cosplay talks and all things nerdy. This will be our first event, essentially.
A first event, and hopefully more to come in the future.
Absolutely
is the aim, and it will potentially most likely have, if we do more in the future, it probably will have a quirky name to go along with it. But
yeah, so I think the aim is that we'll, if we're going to run an event, it'll either be a themed event based around a genre, a game, or a fandom, or a genre, or we may even run a general group shoot, or which might be a little bit smaller. We may even run the odd little workshop or something, I think, is the plan for the future. This is the first one. We'll see how it goes. Please support us. If you're into Arcane League of Legends, I will say there probably won't be a better opportunity to be able to create or shoot or get some amazing content. Blowing our own trumpet, but it really is a superb venue, superb opportunity. You'll love it. There'll be a food bands on site, so you'll be able to have food, drinks. It's going to be a great event. So hopefully you'll come along and support us.
It's definitely a start for something that could evolve into something pretty cool. Along the line, if you know Darren, he likes a bit of cyberpunk, so I'm pretty sure there'll be a cyberpunk event somewhere pretty cool. If we can
kind of working on that one in the background. So
So that's another cool bit of exciting news for the podcast this year as well. We're kind of really glad that we're being able to announce a little bit more about it, and there will be more information coming out for it as well. Closer to the event once we have more details. Yes.
The event, I'm looking to confirm with the venue in the next week or two. Once the venue is 100% locked in, then we can look at announcing how we're going to do applications and ticket sales. So,
some more work.
So, sort of outside of podcast, what does your 2025 look like?
Well, as a lot of people know, obviously, me and Steph are in the process of planning our wedding, which is not this year, but it's looking like it'll be that in 2026.
Weddings aren't cheap.
No, they're really not. So if you want to do more paid, I have to say, if you want to do more paid shoots, let me know. I need to fund the wedding fund.
If you want to pay for their wedding,
if you want to pay for our wedding, there'll be a just donate minimum of £150. But I mean, I'm just joking. Um, 25. So it is going to be severely cut back on cons because obviously a cost factor around cons, travel, hotels, the event itself, bits and pieces like that. So there's that. I want to focus a lot more again on evolving the podcast, like we were saying with the events, prepping for episodes, prepping for location bits and pieces there. But from a personal side, I'm really pushing more location shoots, either from cosplay or from a boudoir perspective. So I'm really trying to push my brand out there. Some people may have noticed that I did a rebrand on my other account, which is now, thanks to Darren's lovely artwork, it's now gone over to Switch Gone Dark. So a lot of my outer-con stuff is over on that. And that's, I think, 24 took a bit of hit on that account, and I didn't really do a lot of stuff there. I was working mostly cosplay and trying to build that up. So this year I'm shifting my focus not fully away from cosplay, but a bit like what Darren was saying earlier. It's like I want to sort of narrow my niche in regards to my style. I want to play a bit more cinematic, and I'm going to try and get some working with Darren in, so I can learn that skill, and I focus on bringing that into my photography business and side of things there. And bits and pieces. That's kind of going to be one of my main focuses this year, is focusing on my other side of my other brands. Bits and pieces there. Starting off quite strong. Did a really good shoot with Steph last week. I've got a few of that edited, and you can start seeing some of that results coming up over there. Really good. As I mentioned, I've got an event next weekend with some incredible people there. So some cool photographers and models that I'm going to be working with, and you'll start seeing some of that coming about over the next probably few months. But that doesn't mean I'm not doing cosplay. I'm still going to events. The main events I will be going to this year is Secret Con. Like we're saying, it's an amazing event, but it's also a good place for me to adapt my skills, catch up with friends, have a good laugh, and all these other bits and pieces. So yeah, it's gonna, and that's really the start of this year. I mean, this time last year I didn't know where 2024 was going to go, let alone 2025. But it's essentially new skills, working on my brand, working on me, working on bits and pieces, and obviously working on the podcast and doing bits and pieces and collaborating with more people. It's essentially the main objective, I think, for 2025, and also working on myself and getting myself a bit better off and where I need to be. But yeah, pretty good. Going in strong this year so far. A little bit of a wobble, as we mentioned earlier, but that's I'm allowed that.
Same. I mean, I originally had planned to do MegaCon Dublin, so a little bit of a wobble there because I couldn't, health reasons. But two sort of equal aims this year at the top of the list for me was to do more creative stuff, and also to listen to my body and not push myself beyond my limits. So I decided to drop out of MegaCon Dublin. I was gutted because it was one I was really, really looking forward to. The guys at MegaCon were kind enough to grant me a creator pass. Unfortunately, I had to drop out. Hopefully they won't hold that against me. So yeah, a Spores Hannibal shoot next weekend over in South Wales. Massive projects, 20 of us, I think, in total.
Stuff,
Friday to Monday. Some absolute pinnacle creativity people going to that event. I can't say enough how excited I am for it. We've booked like two really cool cottages on this farmhouse. One is huge, sleeps like 16 people, massive. Another one, a smaller one. We're all going to be staying there as well. We've got a hot tub in the two places. So yeah, it'd be great for my back. I can just go and chill in the hot tub. Fuck it.
Come get me when I'm needed.
Yeah, exactly. Just come and get me out of the stew. It's fine. So yeah, we've got a really cool script to work to, similar to the shoot the Arcane shoot I did with Spores. We've got some set targets and a few other bits. We're going to do a bit of stuff on the beach in the evening. We've got some really, really cool plans. I am planning to go full on cinematic with what I'm shooting. So I will be leaning very, very heavily into my cinematic side and also more so into my cinematography side. One of the things I've been leaning into more at the Spore shoots is the cinematography. So helping the videographers set up their lighting and shoots, and then I shoot stills of scenes while they're shooting video, and it's something that I'm really, really enjoying. Kind of realizing that I've missed a bit of a call in there in life. I'm 40, 48, and I kind of wish I'd have leaned more into the cinematic side rather than advertising and editorial photography when I was younger. But hey, you're never too old.
Always able to learn new skills.
Yeah, really, really looking forward to that. Got a few paid shoots throughout the year already booked, including some mentoring sessions. Secret Con Magna, again,
exciting.
I'm not just saying this because it's my own event, but it is one of my favorite venues. Just perfect for anything sort of cyberpunk, gamey, industrial. It's really versatile. I think you just kind of gotta not be afraid to go with the artificial light, push your ISO, experiment a little with lighting. One of the good things about Secret Con is if it doesn't work, it doesn't matter. Just explain to the person it didn't quite work out and start again. Simple, The Not Safe for Work Content Creator Day in March as well. And then the Sunday at MegaCon Birmingham. April, a couple of paid things booked in. May, I'm on a cruise on the Norwegian Fords at the start of May. So I won't be shooting cosplay, but I am taking my camera. So I am no landscape photographer, but I am really looking forward to taking my camera on the Norwegian Fords. So yeah, I've started to put together a gear list and it's growing. I wanted to travel light, but the good thing about going on a cruise is there's no limit to luggage. Take what you want. So that could be dangerous. Probably,
that might kill you.
Well, I'll just get her to carry it. It'll be fine. So I probably won't be at MCM London in May. Again, it'll be a first. Well, not a first, actually. A couple of years ago, I missed an MCM May, but did the October. Don't think I'll be at MCM May. If I do, I might just do a day. June is Pic Mateo, Switzerland event. The weekend after is Secret Con Houghton, which is going to be a big venue for us. It's a new venue. It's a castle vibe. It's a huge site. It's absolutely stunning. Really, really thoroughly looking forward to that. And for me, who doesn't normally shoot the sort of fantasy style, coming from Switzerland, which is very, very fantasy style, into Houghton Tower, I should be like fully primed and ready to go. So if you're looking to shoot fantasy,
he'll be sick and tired of fantasy by that point.
No, I won't. I'll be leaning full on cinematic fantasy by the time I've come from Switzerland. So yeah, looking forward to that.
And then jumping straight into an Arcane League of Legends.
Then jumping straight into an Arcane League of Legends event, yeah. So originally I was going to do MegaCon Manchester in July for 2 days. I'm now thinking I might just do a day there. I'm not sure. My main issue this year is trying to pull some annual leave back because we want to go to Spain again. We went to Spain at Christmas and New Year and we absolutely loved it. So we want to go back there at some point this year and then maybe back there for Christmas as well. Who knows? I really didn't want to come back. No, I did not, to be fair.
I remember.
Also slipping, I'm also doing the photography show in London as well.
Forgot about that as well, yeah.
Mid-March, that's another good one. That'll be fun. So yeah, might do a day at MegaCon Manchester. August, don't think I've got much scheduled. September, I will be applying for Focus Cosplay in Central France. Another European photocon that I really, really want to go to. Heard some really great things, seen some absolutely fabulous content come from there. Was fortunate enough to also shoot with one of the organisers of that event at Volta last year, so we chat a lot online. So yeah, really looking forward to that. That's the end of September. They've not announced applications yet, so keep an eye on their site. Again, we'll post a link to them. Not sure the location. I think they're changing location this year. They're going to announce some news shortly, which I'm really looking forward to. October, really not sure. Really not sure, because I think we might go to Spain in October for a few days. Don't think I'm going to do October MCM. Not sure. If they do another event with EGX, I might do a day. Probably won't do the weekend. But again, yeah, all the gaps throughout the year where I'm not doing events, I really want to do sort of out-of-con projects. I've been talking about it for a little while, but I really want to get my Blade Runner Roy Batty Tears in Rain scene shot this year at Tank Space. So
yes,
that'll be myself and Captain Tempest, Troy. Also got a few other things planned with Troy on the day, if we do Tank Space, including a Bond scene and a Weapon X scene in the tank, so that'd be cool.
I need to get the Tank Space and do some bits and pieces.
We need to maybe just like arrange a joint, maybe arrange a cosplay Togs and All Things Nerdy Tank Space Day.
I think that's a brilliant idea.
Let's do it.
Let's get that done. But
right, I'll get onto them this week, and we'll see what dates are available.
Exactly, and I've got some stuff with Troy planned as well that we were meant to do in October, but we decided to put it off because of the restrictions at XL. But we also thought it was better to do what we were going to try and do with his Daredevil, and do it outside of a con and do it out of con shoot, because it was going to be a powerful shoot. I don't want to say too much yet because it's still in work in progress. Me and Troy still got to work out timings and bits and pieces for that, but we were talking about it on the weekend actually. So yeah,
sounds fun. I'm arranging a couple of. Originally, I was going to do one shoot, but I had such a massive response. I want to do a cyberpunk stroke techwear shoot. So cyberpunk fashion and style rather than cyberpunk characters. I literally had about 50 people reply to that post.
That was good.
I was absolutely gobsmacked. I didn't realise this genre was so popular at the moment.
I think, I mean, cyberpunk's helps, I think, with that. But I also feel like it's very what's the other fashion? It's the one with can't remember what it's called. But the one with like a bit like Arcane ES with like the goggles and
like steampunk.
Steampunk, yes, that's
it.
Steampunk, it's very similar to steampunk, but kind of more futuristic.
Over a bit. So I had so much interest. So I'm going to arrange a couple of shoots, probably group shoots, some solo shoots. Somewhere I'll be two or three photographers, assistants. So I'm going to be doing a couple of those throughout the year. That'll be TF shoots. I won't be doing those for money purely because they're my projects. I'll run them. I may try and get Rotolight or someone like that involved in maybe one or two of them. Maybe some of the London ones purely from perspective to help with lighting and things like that. But we're just going to do a couple up and down the country. It'll be really cool. So, and then other than that, a couple of other cinematic projects planned, but I'm going to keep it pretty loose. I don't want to arrange too much fixed purely because of my back issue. Don't know when I may get taken out of action. So, but all in all, I'm really looking forward to this year.
Should be a good year for everybody. I mean, yeah, for you, definitely there's a lot there going on. I know I've got a lot that I haven't really spoke about. I've got like projects out that I'm working on myself here, there, and everywhere, which haven't come to tuition yet because I haven't worked on them yet. I've got them written down. I've got obviously the competition stuff that I ran last year, so I've got a load of that booked in and sorting out. But yeah, it's going to be a good year. I feel like it's going to be a productive year. A lot of progression again, I think, for both of us as well as the podcast. Also trying to hope to get some friendly faces on from other podcasts that have been set up recently that I'm actually really quite excited to talk to some of them and get them on, or even us go over to them if they will have us. It's a piece like that. I think, yeah, it's going to be a good year. It'll be a fun year. Might not be as many cons, but I think it's still going to be a very full year.
Yeah, I mean, I look at my scheduled calendar now and I'm like, oh, I'm not doing a lot. But then I think of how many of my own personal projects I want to slot in, then my holiday and things like that. It actually probably will fill out to be quite a full year. Last year, I concentrated more on events. This year, I really want to concentrate more on personal projects, both from a cost perspective and a creative perspective. Going to mainstream events costs a lot of money. It's getting more and more expensive. And I think when I do attend mainstream events, it will be more from a podcast perspective. I will always have my camera with me, but I'll be mainly focusing the mainstream events. If I do an MCM or something like that, it'll be mainly from a podcast perspective because I think we get a lot out of it for the podcast.
I kind of think with also the way that mainstream cons are kind of changing their approach to things, it makes sense to, and I think for the style that we both shooting is a bit more creative and it's very different now than what it was. It leads us to kind of do a little bit extra from another point of view. So, like I said, if you like, I know standard cinemas, like obviously if we do go to a con and we're pushing it out there, and we don't necessarily shoot with everyone, it's not that we don't want to. It will come down to a workload basis, and also I'm still working on stuff from last year, as well as whatever stuff I can't this year. So if I do say no, it's nothing personal. 100%, nothing personal.
Absolutely, it's just that it's same as you. I'm trying to focus more on things that suit me and my style and where I'm heading in my journey. And it's nothing at all to do with you or your cosplay or anything like that. Certainly with regards to sort of TF shoots and event shoots. That said, I am always available for paid shoots. If there's something that you want to shoot that I might not necessarily want to shoot at a con, still feel free to approach me about a paid shoot if that's within your budget.
Because that 9 times out of 10, even if it's something you see at a con, it's like, actually, it doesn't fit the style, but
exactly.
You know what? Go out on a location shoot or somewhere else, it will fit.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think I'll still be doing shoots. I think at MegaCon events, I'll probably do like a 50-50, half podcast, half shoots, because there is still an opportunity to be creative. So
that's very much what I'm doing this weekend. I've got a few people I've reached out to who I'm going to shoot with, and I'm going to try and do some podcast stuff as well.
Nice.
That's what I'm going to try and do. It's going to be difficult. So I have to rope someone in to help me, but it'll be fine. I might have to kidnap Bigfoot for a little while because he'll be there. But yeah, so it'll be a fun one because I've got some creative stuff going on with a few people, and obviously I want to do some podcast stuff.
Nice. I think that pretty much wraps most things up.
Nice and tidy, nice and nice, good one.
Nice and short for us, actually. 1 hour, 40 minutes
1 hour
or whatever.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't discussed this yet, but obviously our next episode, I don't think we actually want to say, because knowing us, we'll say an episode and we'll jinx it for ourselves and spend 3 months trying to plan it.
I'll tell you what. Let's put this out there. So, out of some of the topics that you've heard us talk about, what would you guys like to be the next episode? Reach out to us.
And even if you have an idea that we haven't said,
yeah, exactly.
Say it.
If we've not mentioned it, and you think, I'd really like to hear that on a podcast, drop us a message, it's a DM, reach out to us separately. We'd like to hear from you.
I do have to find one thing before we do wrap up. So put a question out there to get people to put a question.
Yes.
And you all failed miserably. I'm mocking you, of course, but there was one person out of a load of you.
One person. Out of all of our followers, we had one person.
One person. And this is brilliant. It's so random. I felt like it needed to be needed to be said. Okay. So the question we got was from the Last Action Hero cosplay. If a great white could breathe and walk on land, would it beat a rhino and a grizzly bear in a 3-way fight?
I think that's quite, as with our genre, it's quite subjective.
Very subjective. I thought it was very appropriate, and I thought it was very out of the box and very random. But knowing the Last Action Hero, it's very on par.
I guess really, for me, the great white could walk on land. Would it be walking on its fins, or would it have dedicated legs? What are we going with here?
I feel like it needs a little bit more expansion, but I feel like it'd have legs, though. I feel like it'd be a bit like, what's his name? The shark guy from Suicide Squad. King Shark.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the sort of thing I picture in my mind when
I think... rhino is obviously pretty powerful, but a rhino is pretty much like a one-hit horse. It can run, it can headbutt things, and that's about it. Whereas, the shark could be able to bite things, toss things about.
Yeah.
But then a bear.
But I suppose in the concept of the question, though, it's like, would it beat a rhino and a grizzly bear in a 3-way fight?
So
that's kind of saying, like, is the rhino and the bear teaming up against the shark?
Well, exactly. I mean, or is it just like every man for himself?
I think if it's every man for itself, as much as I love a rhino, or as Steph likes to call it, an armored unicorn.
Fair enough. I like that.
The horn, it's armored. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's like, I feel like...
Would the great white be able to penetrate the skin enough to do some proper damage? Is it, or are its teeth big enough?
That's true.
I mean, are we talking like a Jaws-sized great white, or are we just a normal great white?
I feel like this is a tricky one. Because I feel like when I was thinking about it, I think the grizzly bear would beat the shark because it's a bit more nimble and moving, but actually he's also a bit squishier.
Grizzly bears are fast. They can go up on the hind legs. They can grab things, claw things, bite things.
I'm thinking if you've got a shark who's got hind legs there.
Yeah, but grizzly bears have got very little protection.
Yeah.
Rhino's got protection.
Yeah. It's a very hard one. I kind of feel that it'd be an equal. I think it'd be an even fight.
I think it'd be quite equal. I think obviously the rhino has got less attack,
better armor,
but it's got better armor. So for that reason, I think it would probably even the playing field a bit.
I think because the grizzly would be nimble, it has sharp claws, go on all fours or two.
I mean, ultimately, I think they'd probably just have a good scrap, and then they'd probably just sit down and go, "Whoa, you know what I mean? Why are we even doing this?
Yeah.
Just because somebody asked us a question doesn't mean we have to do it."
So yes, Last Action Hero, I feel like it's a very even fight, personally. I think it could be any one of the three, or they could all beat the living out of each other. So, but I feel like it was a good question. So yes,
Yeah.
For everyone else who didn't,
since it was the only question, I mean, you know, all I'll say is next time we ask for questions, do better, guys.
And when I say anything, that is
we literally mean
anything. Within reason. They don't want abuse or harassment or anything like that, because we will probably call you out on it and take the piss.
Yeah.
But yes. Anyway, guys, been a great first episode back. I'm sorry it's been our ugly mugs and not some pretty people like Declan on here.
I don't know. We can put filter on. It's fine.
Yeah, one of them Instagram filters that people like putting over photos.
Make us look like unicorns, who knows?
You can do, yeah. AI these days. Anyway, from us, it is a massive thank you if you've got to this point. You've listened to us ramble on for a good hour and 45 minutes at this point. If you watch this after the MegaCon, hope you all had a good time. Everyone's safe, had a laugh, and enjoyed themselves. I've been Switch, and my partner is iPhoto UK. So you'll be able to find all our socials down below. It's pretty much Cosplay Tugs and all things nerdy across any platform that is realistically out there, and probably will go out on more platforms this year.
You just search Cosplay Tugs, it just comes up on social.
Cosplay Tugs, just type that in the some search engine and it will come up with us. Anyway, it's been a pleasure. Thank you all very much, and we'll catch you again very, very soon.
We will.
Hey.
Take care.